What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I thank you for taking the time tonight. We've got a great show planned. I want to tell you, I put a lot of work into this one, so I thank you all for taking the time tonight. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, all the things you're doing to support me. I really can't thank you enough. Had this show planned for a little bit earlier, so I apologize for those of you who have been waiting. Obviously, tragedy occurred today, so I want to, obviously send my heart out to the families in Texas. Just, man, really sad what's going on. It's time the people in charge do something about it. So, man, rough times. But I just want to thank you all for taking the time tonight. I know that a lot of you are looking for that escape. I know those families. Man, just all my prayers go out to them, and whatever you believe in, good vibes, whatever you can, send it to those families, man. But get something done. Change needs to happen. I know we all believe in protecting ourselves and whatever, but there needs to be laws in place that protect the children, man. This is insane. That's all I'm going to say on that. But we're going to get things going here, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you for taking the time. But we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about these defensive schemes because there's just so much going on this off season where we talk about, a lot of, I hear chatter of the Eagles going to start using odd fronts, this, that, the other thing. Well, we tried last year with odd fronts and just didn't work out well because we didn't have the right personnel. So we went out and we added that personnel. So we're going to talk about where the new players fit in, where the old players fit in, what these new schemes are going to look like, what the old ones we used with the new players are going to look like. So we're going to get into all of it. So any questions, any comments that you guys have throughout this, please feel free to leave them down below. And I'm going to get to all these comments here in a second here, but appreciate you guys taking time again. And if you're watching this later, you can always comment down below. Happy to answer any questions, but let's go. Let's get into this. So my man, AJ, what is going on, brother? Thank you for taking the time tonight. Appreciate to have the family here. I know we're all ready to talk some birds here. And look, there's a lot going into this. So anything you guys have on your mind, please feel free to let me know what's going on in your heads because there's going to be a lot of information. But I tried to make it as simple as I could. Not going to try to get crazy here, but I want people to see what it's going to look like, why we added some of these players. So got some graphics here that I think you're going to enjoy. What is going on? My man Anthony in the building. Oh, it's about to get real. And dude, we got Drew, my man. Let's go. Now it's about to get real. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the whole gang showing up. And I hope you guys are ready because there's a lot of information coming your way. Let's go. Hope all is well with you, man. It's my family's safe. That's all I can ask for right now. But we just had a scare the other day here in the city next to us. So hope you're all doing well out there. Hope everybody's safe. So thank you, Drew. Hope you're having a great night, man. Yeah, man, for sure. My heart definitely goes out to those in Texas. And hey, God bless all those families for sure. Fuji, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you guys being here. My man, dude, look, it's all good, dude. And, I think whenever you guys show up, it's a good damn time. So it doesn't matter when you're showing up, even if you're watching later. So I just appreciate you guys taking the time. With all the things I go through, it's nice to, have this little time of the day, and look, my family isn't always here. So it's like when I have you guys, you're my second family. So there's nothing I enjoy more than spending time with my family. And, you guys being an extension of that, that's where I get to spend time with you guys too. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. And my man, dude, we have got a packed house here tonight and I love to see it. So I'm going to show you what is actually on the menu for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through this and, we're all used to the base formations here. We're going to talk about the 4-3, the 3-4, but added some in there that maybe you'll see some of, maybe you won't see it all, but we're going to talk about the differences, some of these things that you hear about, and just thought this was a great way to show you where some of these guys will line up. So again, any questions, comments, we're going to go through this bad boy. Let's get this started. I mean, we'll start with, the 4-3 here. And that's, your base lineup that everybody thought we were running last year. And, look, that scheme is one that we definitely used, but I saw a lot of odd man fronts and I saw a lot of things that were concerning last year. But what did we talk about all last year? It's concerning for Jonathan Gannon because why are you running multiple schemes that you don't have the personnel for? So we talked about, he's trying to figure it out, what he likes, and maybe we get the right personnel this year. So Well, we did that. We talked about in the offseason, we need to add a nose tackle. We need to add a real Sam linebacker. And no offense there, Jannard Avery, but Hassan Reddick is quite the upgrade. And then we talked about we need to sign a linebacker and draft one. Well, we got Nakobe Dean at 83, which I still don't understand. And we signed Kaiser White, which is such an underrated signing. So, man, I'm going to show you why those guys, why they matter so much, where they're going to fit in. So keep in mind, a lot of these guys are versatile. So they're going to have guys that, why isn't this guy started? Maybe he's starting somewhere else. Maybe there's a guy that's depth. Maybe he's somewhere else. I mean, I tried to fit everyone in. That way, everybody got a little play and you could see where some of these guys can line up, the versatility of some of these guys. So this is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it going. Avery should have stayed at the end. Well, the thing with him is in this lineup, he didn't work out well because we are a hybrid defense and we are running multiple schemes already. We were doing it last year and he had to move or he wasn't going to make the team. It was great that he worked out to the extent where he could fill in, and he did have some great games, actually. He did pretty well. But you have Patrick Johnson here who, actually played more snaps at certain times than him. And, there was hopes for him. And I like the kid as depth, but dude, you've got Hassan Reddick now. And you also have Kyron Johnson, who I think is a sleeper pick, runs like a 4-4, dude can run you over. He played defensive end the last couple of years, but he started as a middle linebacker. That's a perfect kind of Sam linebacker. So I'm going to explain all that too. The Sam linebacker, that's going to come up when we get into that 3-4. So look, he's the strong side linebacker. He's here right here in the 4-3. I'll explain the differences here in a second, but yes, this is that time we're going to talk about it because I see so many articles, so many things. I saw one that said the Sam linebacker, which is the middle linebacker, and that is not the case at all. So I just want this to be an opportunity, hopefully, for people to come and check it out and, be able to learn something and, get something from this. So if you do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're into content like this. I appreciate you guys. So my man Jock Talk entering the chat. Dude, it has been a while. Nice to see you. We've got a full gang in the building. So hope you guys are going to enjoy these graphics I'm about to throw your way. 4-3 up first, and we're going to get through the rest of them here, but let's take a gander. So you'll see why I threw 4-4 next, just so we could talk about the differences. So let's get it started. Now, this isn't necessarily lined up how you're going to see it, where, the corners could be up on the line of scrimmage. These guys don't have to be 5, 7, 10 yards back, but this is how I did it because I needed to try to fit all these damn graphics in. So I could have made it a little bit smaller, but you understand what we're going with here. So the secondary you will see is obviously above the front seven, but you will see that they are color coded. So linebackers and linemen obviously have the green rings around them. So that is the front seven, but the linebackers will have the white backgrounds. The linemen will have the green backgrounds. Then you obviously see the secondary as the white outline, but the corners have the green backgrounds. The Eagles green is obviously the safeties. So you can't see Anthony Harris because of his hair, but it's green back there. Anyway, let's keep this damn thing going. Now, with the 4-3, we don't see much of it as much as, because Madden, everybody thinks that's what it is, but that's not what we were running last year. And I know you're seeing Hassan Reddick, everybody, but he's a linebacker. Look, this dude is a Sam linebacker. He is an edge rusher that you can use that can drop into coverage. Now, he is a very versatile dude that you could move into the middle if you wanted to in a 3-4, things like that we will talk about. But this guy right here, we talked about last year how the Eagles were 31st in the league with only 29 sacks. Unacceptable. So we needed somebody that could get to the quarterback. He can do a lot more than that. But this dude, oh my God, I really think that he's going to do a lot of things here, and I can't wait to see it. So right here, we've got him as defensive end. Now, some people ask, like, well, why isn't Josh Sweat a starter, over Brandon Graham? He's getting older. Look, I'm not here to talk about who the starter is right now. So that's why you're going to see different starters. This is the most likely for right now. Now, Josh Sweat, I hope he earns that job, but I don't really care because this is a rotation. Everybody needs to get theirs when their opportunity is, dude, it's time to shine. So Derek Barnett, you see, he is a depth piece now, not getting the start. Sorry for you, dude, but look, you had your opportunity to shine. Maybe you'll do well when not asked to do so much. We shall see. But in the middle, you've got Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. You see Milton Williams, last year's third-round pick, and Jordan Davis there, who obviously was an amazing first-round pick this year, but this dude is going to play a lot. He's going to wreak havoc. I know this first picture, maybe it concerns you. Why did you draft a guy that's not starting? He's going to start. This will not be our base package. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm showing you this because this is the one everybody knows. So if you're running this, great. Well, TJ Edwards, he can hold down the middle. Kaiser White, Nakobe Dean, I believe, can play middle, weak side, or strong side. So I don't care where you have them. TJ Edwards did really well as a middle linebacker, though. I thought he progressed so well last year that he really has earned himself a lot of playing time, even with these new additions. So when we are in this base, he will get his. And when we are running situations, things like that, you will see TJ Edwards. You've got a guy like Davian Taylor there. Look, he'll be in passing situations, so not much to see there. But you see I have Andre Sacheret as a backup safety. Look, he can help you as a nickel, a corner, a free safety. I really love that kid. Can help you on special teams. And then on the other side, you see Kayvon Wallace backing up Marcus Epps. Epps right now, I feel, is the starter. I'd love to see Kayvon step it up. Both of them get some time. But then the corners, oh, hell yeah. Darius Slay, James Bradbury. We talk about, predominantly running a zone with odd fronts. Well, you're going to see some man now, too. I really cannot believe we have James Bradbury, but it's going to go very well. Now, next, I just put the top other corners behind him in Avonte Maddox and Zach McPherson. But if you're looking for outside guys, maybe Tay Gowan can step it up. Zach McPherson is a versatile guy that can play inside and outside, but I think maybe they want to see a little more in for now. But till someone unseats him, we do have a lot of guys. We had a Jimmy Moreland, who you will see. He really shines in the nickel, but he can play outside as well. So we'll see that in a bit here. But you see, that's the 4-3. That's what everybody is familiar with. So that's what it looks like. But you're asking yourself, well, why did we draft Jordan Davis if he's not in there starting? Well, I can promise you that dude will be starting, and he will be getting a lot of playing time. And look, you say that D-line is insane. It is. Wait till you see some of these other ones coming up. Wait till you see how Jonathan Gannon can move these guys around, where they can accentuate to these players' skill sets and how these guys can wreak havoc, man. Everyone plays on the D-line. That's how they stay fresh. Hell yeah, man. That's what we talk about, fresh rotation. So a lot of these guys, keep in mind, that are color-coded. So you'll see some of them, they'll change. They're playing on the line. They're playing off the line. So we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. But you just saw the base formation. Everybody knows what the 4-3 is with the 3 linebackers. Everybody, we all get that. But don't worry. We're getting into it. Milton Williams is going to be a sleeper. I don't think anyone, if people are still sleeping on Milton Williams, and I have not been doing my job well, but Anthony, I'm a huge fan of Milton Williams. I was so surprised that people weren't as excited as I was last year when we drafted him. And then when I made that video, if you guys remember, Brandon Graham got hurt. I talked about it wasn't Josh Sweat who would step up because it was a different role. You're going to see that role coming up here in a second. So Brandon Graham is an anomaly. He can, play inside in that 3-4, whereas most defensive ends are going outside linebacker, depending on what kind of player they are. But Brandon Graham in his younger days, if you remember when we had Billy Davis, he did play outside linebacker, but he's not doing that here. So regardless, let's keep things moving. Milton Williams, I love the dude, but right now he is a great depth piece. And I think once Fletcher Cox is gone next year, he will be that replacement with Javon Hargrave, Milton Williams. Things will still look very nice. Don't worry. And I love you, Fletch, but it's going to be great learning from him, but he will be replaced. Regardless, we're going to keep it moving here. Unpopular opinion, linebacker, still our weakest position, inexperience mainly. Well, I would have to disagree with you because I think Kaiser White being added was huge for me. We talked about him in the offseason. If you guys remember, I know some of you just maybe became a subscriber, but for those of you who do, that Hassan Reddick obviously was my number one guy, but I had Kaiser White up there as well. So I think he is huge. And we talked about you heard me at the beginning of the video, and I said it before the draft, you need to sign one and draft one because of that inexperience. So I agree with what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying. But if you see how these pieces work, what used to be our weakest link and very scary is now going to be a big strength. So I don't look at Hassan Reddick as a linebacker. So I feel you. I hear you. What we added was Kaiser White, and Nakobe Dean at 83 was huge. So I think, yes, inexperience will play a part at first, but I think we're in good hands here. I really feel that way. I end up starting by week 3. I think he'll start week 1. He was drafted for a reason, Anthony. I'm going to show you here in a second. Jimmy, does Andre Dillard get traded? Go check out that video. 10 moves Eagles can make to create cap space. I think he could definitely be a candidate. Understood. Hey, look, I'm here for the conversation. Love it. But I think that's my opinion that you'll see here. Just give me a second to show you, and you'll see why I'm excited about the linebacker position. I mean, they did what we needed to do. So I'm pumped up. We'll just hope that these guys figure it out. I think Nakobe Dean is, I can't wait. Chargers fans were pissed. They let White go, and they should be, because we talked about that kid. Oh, hell, he's the epitome of Philadelphia. So excited. Now the 4-4 I wanted to get into next, because, well, I'm saving the odd fronts, as you can see at the top there. So we're going through what everybody knows, what we used to run a lot of. But I think you will see some 4-4 here, as wild as it is. The reason I'm saying this is because of who we have as our corners. So you're going to see here. Now, look, once again, I'd love to add Jesse Bates. That would make this a yes all the time. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. So you've got essentially what's going to be going on with your 3-4. You've got Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat as your outside linebackers. They're going to be standing up, whether they're rushing the quarterback or dropping into coverage will be seen. But Josh Sweat will most likely be rushing the quarterback. Regardless of that, you've got your two inside linebackers in Kaiser White and Nakobe Dean, who, dude, right away are your starters. I think Davian Taylor, when healthy, provides great depth in passing downs. We'll see what he can become. But, dude, right now, he's just a great depth piece who can help on special teams. And that's a fast guy like that. That's great to have. And then TJ Edwards, we talked about him earlier. But, dude, if you get into a situation where, you've got a team like the Cowboys, they got Ezekiel Elliott, you don't know if they're going to pound the rock at short or they're going to play action bombing on you. Here you go, dude. And I really feel Jonathan Gannon is going to show us a lot. But you see down here with the 4, what I have going on in the middle is, because I kicked out Reddick and Sweat as the outside linebackers, as they will in 3-4, you've got Jordan Davis and Hargrave in the middle. Whether you want to put Hargrave as an end or Cox, they both can do that. But I think with the 4-4 alignment, you won't see much of it. But we're talking about the even schemes right here. So this gave me an opportunity to show you right after that Hassan Reddick will be a guy that predominantly plays a linebacker role, that Sam linebacker. But as you can see, he's kind of near the line. He's not really a linebacker, as a lot of people are thinking. So I think you could see some of this just because of having the ability to man-to-man coverage with James Bradbury and Darius Slay. Now, one thing you got to remember with a lot of this stuff is, now with that one, you saw a single high safety there. With some of these, you will see a single high safety, but a lot of times we're two shell. We play a lot of zone, but I think adding James Bradbury and with having the line we do, you can place a man here. So get excited, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's another one that you don't see much of, and I don't think, you will see too much of, but with the pieces we had, I just wanted to put the picture together so we could look at it together and just all salivate over what this defense can look like. So you want to come get some. The 46 is a very, very intriguing defense. And this was known as the Bear defense. Obviously, Buddy Ryan, we all know good old Buddy here. But this is a wild one with 8 men in the box, but you've got 2 linebackers lining up there next to the end. I think you could really work some magic here with having a guy like Hassan Reddick, who is an edge rusher who can drop into coverage. You have Kaiser White. Nakobe Dean could do the same thing. He can actually get after the quarterback, dude. He can stop the run. Dude, you line these guys all up on the line. Holy Christ. And you're looking at their depth there, and you're like, holy shit, those guys actually might be pretty nice to see too. Milton Williams is the one I'm looking at specifically. So you toss him in somewhere. I mean, it doesn't matter where the depth is, but the cool thing about 46 here is, once again, you only have 2 corners here. And with having Bradbury, you may see a lot more of these things because you feel a lot more comfortable with 2 really great corners out there. But you see that Marcus Epps, the safety, would come down and play that linebacker role. Now, I think Kayvon Wallace would really shine here, but I really liked what I saw from Marcus Epps, so just giving him this for right now. But I like this, and I like the thought process here. I think Anthony Harris improved in this defense. I don't think a lot of people saw, the improvement that I did, and I think that it's going to be exciting to see. I know a lot of people don't like that we don't have, a Chuck Clark or Jesse Bates, and, go check those videos out, ladies and gentlemen, because we can still make those moves. It's all very possible, but let's just stay patient here. But what we have right now still gets me very excited. But up next, what I want to show is where I really feel, you will see, and look, a lot of the times we will use even fronts. So that's why I'm showing you this. But The confusion seems to be that the Eagles haven't used odd man fronts, but we were doing that last year. So that's where the real fun's we're going to get there in a second, but you're going to see nickel. And obviously this is where you're getting into more of a passing situation. This is where you're just essentially taking that 4-3 and you're replacing one of the linebackers with the nickel cornerback in Avonte Maddox. So let's take a gander at what the nickel package looks like here. So you've got guys spread out in the line. Now, again, I'm not getting into nitpicking as to where you're lining these guys up because that's all dependent on, what down it is, where you're at on the field. I mean, what team you're playing, everything. So, look, you can line them up where you want, but you've got the 2 safety high. You've got 3 corners there, as we talked about. And then you've got the 2 nickel linebackers. Holy shit. This is what we talked about all damn off season, ladies and gentlemen. Kaiser White and Nakobe Dean as your damn nickel linebackers. Yes, finally. I love Alex Singleton, man. Great person. But dear God, he and TJ Edwards, those are not nickel linebackers, man. That's just not, no. So once you go into this, you see Hassan Reddick once again popping down into that defensive end role, whether you've got Graham, Barnett, Sweat over there on the other side, don't care. And then in the middle, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. And some people are going to tell you, you can't have Jordan Davis in on passing situations. And I'm going to tell you, they should pass whatever the hell they're smoking because, dude, I don't know who you're watching, but that dude can get after the quarterback and he can do things that you're going to see here coming up where he essentially just takes the role of 2 people. Zero technique guy that literally just lines up in the middle. He's just going to destroy people. I mean, maybe even 3 men that are going to have to try to take him on. Best of luck to you. So I love the even fronts. I love the idea of it. We'll show you. Whoa. Before I show you, actually, we got some comments popping up here, but you saw the nickel. I'm going to show you again here in a second. And I'm also going to show you a fan favorite, the big nickel. And I'm going to explain that here quickly. But I mean, this is a passing league. So you're going to see more of these, what we're getting into, except for that last one, the 52. I think Davian Taylor will be released sometime during the camp or traded. I don't believe so. The money would not make sense to get rid of him where he's at in his contract right now. But if he wouldn't show up, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. But I think that's a guy where he needs to stay healthy and show us what he's got. A 4th round draft pick. He needs to be that depth piece. And I think a great special teamer he would be. So if he can be that, cool. He's not costing anything, but I don't think he gets a new contract unless he shows us something. But you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot just to get rid of someone, just like Jalen Reagor. You want to wait till after June 1st if you're going to even do anything, and you really want to trade him so you actually save a little bit of money and don't take on such a huge chunk of dead money. Now, Davian Taylor isn't the same case because he wasn't a high draft pick, but still, that's somebody that you want to see what you can get from first. So I agree with you, man. He's on the hot seat, but I wouldn't just get rid of him. But I hear you, man. I do. The defense is like foreplay. It's getting me, dude. It got me excited making these. I'll be real with you. And it's a fun, dude. Wait till we get into the odd man fronts. That's all I really want to talk about. The 3-4. And then, dude, the 3-3-5. Think of that as a nickel as well. And I'm going to explain that when we get there, but didn't want to spoil it yet. I saved the odds, like I said at the end. And then we're going to end it with the run because you know me. Run the damn ball. So, of course, that last one, the old 52. For any of you old heads out there, you know what the 52 defense is. Old Greasy Neal from the Eagles, baby. So that's a special defense near and dear to my heart, and that stops the run. Now, we're going to keep things rolling, but it's got me excited as well, Jock Talk. I really think things, let's go. Throwing baits, and it's game over for me. I told you, it's Super Bowl bound, baby, and I already think we could be contenders. It all depends on how they stay healthy, how they play together. Of course, it's all just paper right now that we're looking at here, but dude, we talked about if they added these pieces, that's how we become a contender. Well, we added those pieces. So how can I go back on my word? We added that big name receiver. We got that nose tackle, the Sam linebacker, the 2 linebackers, an outside corner. We got all of those things. So if they trade for Jesse Bates, which you guys can go check that video out, talk about all the money, try to simplify as much as I can so you guys don't have to. That way you understand what kind of impact it would have. Dude, you could afford him. You could. So I'm still hopeful, and I'd be with you 100%, AJ. I would be losing my mind. Forgot about our 6th round pick, Kyron Judge. I did not. He was actually part of one of the other ones, but where did you think I forgot him? Because he's coming up, don't you worry. But as I mentioned earlier about Kyron Johnson, I think he is the underrated pick because he runs a 4.4, I think is what I was mentioning. I know I quickly mentioned it, but yeah, I was mentioning him as underrated because I think he is very underrated, and I think he is going to shine because again, Jannard Avery was what we had at Sam linebacker, Patrick Johnson backing him up. Well, we still got Patrick Johnson. High hopes for the kid. Go get him. But you've got Kyron Johnson, again, who I think, as you'll see here in a second, will play over him. And I also think that, well, Hassan Reddick's going to be hard to take snaps from, but you'll see he moves around. So that opens up doors for other people. So stay patient with me, ladies and gentlemen. You shall see those guys. And like I said, I try to involve everyone so we could talk about this stuff. All aboard the Extend Heart. You watch the video. He's all in. That saves the most money, makes the most sense. Go check out that video, guys. Keep Hargrave around for the long term. It's going to be sad to see Cox go, but that's how the deal is set. He's going to have to be cut before March, before the bonus goes in, all that stuff. We've talked about it. Check that video out too. But Hargrave, extend him. You save a lot of cap space. Give him a big deal. We have him for the next few years. He helps Milton Williams, Jordan Davis. Let's go. I'm with you 100%. Kyron is a death piece and will be rotated, I imagine. Yes, he will, and you'll see him here shortly. What about Matt Leo? I almost added him at one spot, but I was like, I'm not doing that, dude. I actually added someone. You'll see. But yeah, Matt Leo, best of luck to you, man. But I didn't want to add too many of these guys that are all in the bubble, but some of the places I had to because just you'll see. But yeah, man, it was very intriguing. So let's keep it going. You see nickel here. We just talked about, but what I was saying was big nickel, something, a lot of people talk about, including myself. The 3 safety set. So if you were to add a Jesse Bates, then you could still see a Marcus Epps, something like that. So all you're doing with big nickel when people talk about that is you're literally just replacing, just replacing Kayvon Wallace with Avonte Maddox. So it's a safety going into the cornerback's role. And the only reason you're doing that is based on certain matchups. So again, where you're lining guys up, what you're doing with certain schemes is all based on who you're playing, who they've got at running back, who they've got tight ends, this, that, the other thing. So I really feel that, it's fun to look at all this stuff because we are going to see a plethora of these things because Jonathan Gannon, man, he was trying a lot last year, but for me, it was really just, he didn't have the right personnel. So when you're looking at things like nickel, that's against the pass, but when you add big nickel, that's still passing situation. Maybe you're afraid of the tight ends they run. So maybe you've got a team like the Patriots who wants to run, or like the Niners that'll run 22, which is like 2 backs, 2 tight ends, or even 23 with 2 backs, 3 tight ends, something wild like that. That's where you're going to want to throw in like a 46, something where you only have 2 corners, and then the rest are the linebackers, the guys that are versatile, that can line up, match up with those guys, safeties like that. So that's why you're seeing certain roles for certain guys that, they can do other things. And that's where, when I was a kid, football games helped me learn everything, the heights, the weights, everything. But I think, they get a lot of things lost, where people think that it's just, this is how certain people have to play or this, that. Now I did notice, I remember a couple years ago, I checked the one Madden out and like they had edge rushers, certain things. And I like to see that, the nickel corners, people, because I remember back in the day, you try to put like the third guy in the third spot, the depth chart, and then it would get all messed up when you run a different play and be like, so yeah, I'm very anal about that stuff. But if you could tell, I mean, I kind of have OCD with the pictures and everything. But anyways, you saw the nickel. Let's jump into the dime. So the dime defense is just, okay, we're in a passing league right now. I don't think too much nickel and dime just because of that 3-3-5 we're going to talk about here. And even a 3-2-6 you could throw in. But again, so the dime defense is just taking away one of those linebackers. And I took away Nakobe Dean just because of the inexperience. So the experience of Kaiser White, putting him in the middle. So you got him as your dime linebacker. I think Nakobe Dean can hold that down and hold it down well for the next 10 years, 15 years. Oh, yes, let's go. But for now, again, don't get too hyped up over the pictures. Just understand what I'm saying. So you see in the middle, it's just the green ring with the white background. So there is one linebacker in the dime, but you've got 6 guys in the secondary with the white rings, only 2 safeties, you see, and then 4 corners. So I threw in Zach McPherson. Again, we talked about, he can definitely play inside and out. I think they want to dabble inside a little bit first, but we just picked up Jimmy Moreland. Last year, we had traded for Josiah Scott. So 2 guys, with starting capability that, maybe in the right situation with Jonathan Gannon, a defensive back-minded coach, maybe he could help these guys out. Then you've got guys like Tay Gowan, who I really like. We talked about him before last year's draft as one of those underrated kids. I was really excited when he was added into that Ertz trade. So I thought, hey, in the right system, you never know. So I'm really pumped up to see this cornerback room, the competition. And then, here on outside, I just threw Josh Joby in. I could have threw, Craig James in or any of the other younger guys, but I really like Joby. I like Goodrich too. Blackwell's intriguing to watch. So whoever wants to step up, go right ahead. But that's where it is for now. Now, when you've got 4 linemen like that, spread them out. Look, you could have Milton Williams, Jordan Davis replace Cox or Hargrave. That's fine. You could have, Sweat or Barnett replace Reddick or Graham. We talk about that rotation, but that's quite a nice 4-man rotation. So depending on what they're throwing at you, maybe you got to have 4 linemen there. But the hope of this damn defense, as we talked about last year, was to use odd man fronts, was to have the hybrid schemes, but predominantly have those odd man fronts. But we have certain players that could fill those multiple roles. Only problem is we didn't even have certain players that could fill any role, meaning we didn't have a nose tackle. And the Sam linebacker position, Jannard Avery, switching from defensive end to try to be a Sam linebacker, and a rookie, Patrick Johnson, which great job, man. But it was like, what are we doing here? And, we had holes and we had injuries and things happened, but you could see great ideas, just maybe not the greatest person. And look, Gannon definitely had his mistakes, but first time defensive coordinator, not trying to hold it against him as some people were losing their minds over. But I think we're definitely going to find out, and you better bring it to the table now because you've got all the pieces you need. So we're going to talk about these damn odd fronts, baby. I think I'm pumped. What's your confidence level in Kayvon's coverage skills against bigger slot receivers in big nickel? Great question. I think for me, that was the hope. When we drafted him, we talked about, hey, look, we've got Rodney McLeod, we've got Anthony Harris here. And actually Harris wasn't here yet, but last year, once we added Anthony Harris, I talked about again bringing Kayvon Wallace. We'll take it back though. Before Anthony Harris, I thought Kayvon Wallace, if he couldn't become a starter right away, because everybody was crowning him, if you remember, said, hey, maybe this kid gets in regardless and gets some snaps as a big nickel. I'd love to see that. He lines up. That's what he did at Clemson. I thought he lined up well against certain tight ends, certain running backs. So thought he could do that, maybe even bigger tight ends at times, or wide receivers, sorry. But I think for me, that's what he was supposed to do, right? So I feel kind of scared about, did I just say is, what am I, 5? I feel afraid that he literally has not gotten the opportunity for me. That's all it is. But I hate saying that because people get hurt all the time. And it's like, look, man, you got to stay healthy, and it's a business, man. And so here's his opportunity with that big nickel. I think it could be used for sure, but you've got a lot of defensive backs that can do a lot of things. So with safety being thin, you're going to see some of these guys can play safety too. So we're going to see, other guys as depth. So maybe he can move around a little bit, dabble in that like Joker diamond, like linebacker type role. So we'll see. But yo, my man Pharaoh in the building. Thank you for tuning in, my man. We are just getting through the even fronts. Now we're going to go through those odd fronts we've been talking about. Any questions, comments you have, please feel free to throw them my way, my man. You want to see something, whatever it is. Hope you're having a great night, but I appreciate you taking the time. Do you see going from almost no real linebackers to keeping 6+ on the roster? Well, that's a great question. When going through this roster, looking at it, it depends on how you want to, differentiate these guys, what you want to call them. And you remember, it's funny because the Eagles depth chart does it too. I think I actually have it. But you guys remember how I had the depth chart, and I said, look, I have to make this differently because I can't have it listed. My OCD will not allow me to have it listed as like websites or how the Eagles, website does it. Those guys, whatever, dude. I need what's actually going on. So I try to label it. You guys remember this from a few weeks ago. Try to update the names here, but you see, you've got the defensive ends and the guys that can play outside linebacker. Graham being the exception we talk about, can play inside, which is crazy, but we'll get to that here in a second, that odd man front. But you've got guys all over the place at, inside line. But when you get to Sam linebacker there, you have Hassan Reddick, Patrick Johnson, Kyron Johnson, Ali Fayyad's trying out as well. But I think for me, you have to realize that, that's a whole position in itself. So I think the Johnsons and Reddick make it. So you've got 3 there. And then when you're talking about the actual inside and, 4-3 linebackers, you've got Nakobe Dean, Kaiser White, Davian Taylor, Edwards, and Bradley. I think those 5 make it. So if we're just talking about those guys, it's 5 for me. But if you are talking about as a whole with those other guys, which, some people will probably lose their minds when they see that, like, oh my God, the Eagles kept 8 linebackers, but 3 Sam linebackers and 5 linebackers, and I'd be okay with that, man. So good question, and I think it's gonna be fun, man, going through that when we break down, the roster projections, all that crazy stuff, because it was nuts just putting these together. I'm like, holy hell! And then of course Jimmy Moreland gets signed last night, and it was like, so I had to change everything around, whatever. But what's my favorite competition in OTAs? That's a great question. What are you even like allowed to call anymore? When I was a kid, lay on the ground, get up. Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know. For me, I love OTAs in general. I'm one of the people that will just watch every single thing. But I think what I get hyped about is different from year to year because of the fact that there are certain positions each year that I have my damn eye on. Obviously, I cannot wait to see what this line looks like because we added a nose tackle in Jordan Davis. So I have a lot of fun watching the linemen. So I think, that competition is usually pretty fun to watch, but it sucks because they don't have pads, but they are the ones that get to hit each other. That's, until, we really get down gritty, that's where you get to find out. But I don't get carried away with watching, the catches and the defensive player. It's like once you get the pads on, it's a whole different game. But I do have fun. I want to see people progress. What I don't want to see is them doing bad. Some people get upset about highlight videos. It's like, dude, I'd rather see that than them dropping the ball and sucking. So, there's a happy medium there. But great question, man. But you know what? To answer that, though, sorry. I mean, I always, you guys know, wide receiver, it's what I played when I was younger. I think I've always had an affinity for that position. So I always have the most fun. But this year, it's going to be A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So that's awesome. But for me, I think I'm going to have my eye on the whole front seven. I mean, I told you about how excited I am with this defensive line, but the linebackers being added, dude, let's go. Interested to see undrafted Ali Fayyad. Yeah, me too, man. I actually almost made a highlight video on him because he got left out, Devin. If you guys remember, when we first signed all of our undrafted free agents, we had got that quarterback from, Brown University, I want to say, E.J. Perry, I think. And then the next day, we let him go because we didn't think we were getting Carson Strong, but we had a quarterback. We didn't need another quarterback. And then we brought on Ali Fayyad. So he got left out. If you guys missed that undrafted free agent, I went through every undrafted free agent. We looked at their college stats, talked about everything, and then I showed you highlights of all of them. So go check that out. But he didn't get one. So I'm with you, man. Love to see him step up. He's got both the Johnsons to compete with, but it's an open position that obviously has been created in this defense and needs to be used. And you're going to see here in a second why. What's your favorite signing? Hassan Reddick. You're going to find out why. He was my number one. Need to go get him in free agency. And dude, oh my God, he's going to shine. Let's look at it in a second. How do you feel about Marlon Tuipulotu? Going to talk about him in a second as well. I played nose guard, my man. Let's go. We're going to talk about how the Eagles need a nose guard right now. We obviously got Jordan Davis, but I'm going to get into Tuipulotu. I'm not going over yet. He's just about to show up in a second. You watched the undrafted one? Awesome, dude. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it because that one took me a minute. But yeah, it was actually fun to put together. I'm excited about that undrafted class. But let's get into the 3-4. My favorite signing, Hassan Reddick. What do we talk about during the free agency series? Please, for the love of God, get us an edge rusher. It's all I want. But specifically a Sam linebacker edge rusher and specifically Hassan Reddick because he literally fit the mold of what we needed. And Jannard, I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to bash you, but dude, Hassan Reddick, he's that versatile guy that you really will not mind. When you saw Jannard Avery dropping the coverage, it was like, motherfucker. But no, it was literally Hassan Reddick. Dude, it's yin and yang there. So I really, I can't wait. So let's look at it, dude. Here's a 3-4. You saw 4-4 going on. This is where it happens. This is the base defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. I appreciate you guys sticking around, making it to the 3-4. But this is why we drafted Jordan Davis. This is why we signed Hassan Reddick. These guys are going to fill in. And obviously, you see Dean and Bradbury there. Those were nice cherries on top. But specifically, we talked about drafting Jordan Davis with our first pick and signing Hassan Reddick as the top priority in free agency. Well, the reason being, this is what Jonathan Gannon wants to use. Now, again, the next one coming up is 3-3-5. So you'll see a lot of that too. But what I'm talking about is the 3-man front. Now, why would you only want to use 3? Well, because it's a passing league and it opens up a lot more. And when you have versatile guys like Hassan Reddick, you can use them to rush the quarterback as well with those other 3 or all those other fun things. But regardless, this 3-4. Why did we need Jordan Davis? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many times I could have stressed it, but please God, get me a monster of a nose tackle, Jordan Davis. Now, his running mate, more of the pass rusher, I understood why people wanted him, but no, dude, you need a one gap stopper. This guy comes in and he takes over the role of 2 defensive tackles. He is going to demand double teams. So no longer the day of double teaming Fletch or Javon. And best of luck if you try with them too, because then you've got Reddick, you've got Sweat, you've got Barnett. And there he is, Anthony, Mr. Kyron Johnson, I think, backing up Hassan Reddick in the most pivotal base scheme we have, 3-4. I think he can earn it. I really do. And I think with the coverage ability of those 2 middle linebackers and the run tackling ability, that allows you to run this set because then offenses have no effing idea what is coming at them. Now, you've got 2 corners in this set. So at times, this is not what you are going to want to run due to the fact that you're going to want a corner to cover someone. So don't worry. Avonte Maddox will see his time, and we're going to get to that in a second here. But this one is what the base should look like. When you get on the damn website, it should just have this, a 3-4 with a nose tackle. And I know it says Fletcher Cox is a defensive end. That's what he is at this point. But look, he's really a tackle because those other guys are ends. But I'm not going to sit here and try to bore you with that kind of stuff. But honestly, this to me, this is where I have to change my drawers. I cannot believe what this defense looks like right here. And I know Marcus Epps, though, it might upset some people, but I really felt last year, as we talked about him, very underrated, and we can only hope that he progresses this year. So maybe we do add someone, but if not, let's give the young man a chance. Please, please. But that 3-4, man, I think that is the base scheme for the Philadelphia Eagles. But we talk about you're going to see some more nickel. Now, this is the 3-3-5 nickel. And for me, I think you'll see a lot of this too because, well, it's a passing league. So Avonte comes in and again, it's like, wait, what the hell did you just do there? So what I did was I took away one of those linebackers. Now, this looks weird to you. You're like, wait, why did you stack it? I had to try to fit these guys on there. So bear with me here. But these guys can move around. They don't have to be on top of each other like this. And you've got a guy in Hassan Reddick that as a strong side linebacker, a Sam linebacker, you can have him rushing the quarterback, dropping into coverage. But you could do the same exact thing with Kaiser White and Kobe Dean. So wherever you want to put these guys at, best of luck to whoever the offensive coordinator is and the quarterback, because when you're looking at it, you really have no idea what's coming at you. And then that secondary, man, again, adding Bradbury. We talked about this last year before we added Steve Nelson. It was key to helping this defense, not throwing these young guys into the fire. Well, you add Bradbury. Now you've got Slay and Bradbury, possibly one of the best duos in the game. I really think it could be. But now you have Tay Gowan, Jimmy Moreland, Zach McPherson. You've also got Josiah Scott, who can all compete for depth position there, man. So the cornerback position is going to be really fun to watch this offseason. But in this package, you've got 5 defensive backs, 3 linebackers, 3 defensive linemen. So again, you can always look at the color coding when you're checking this out. Maybe you want to go back on this video, just take a look at it, looking at where people are. But just remember, it doesn't always have to be where they're standing again. And the corners can move up on the line. They don't have to be back. Yes. So just for picture purposes. Now, I could have swore I saved the 3-2-6 in here, but apparently that picture is not here. So son of a bitch. All that would be replacing Hassan Reddick. And what I would have done would be is put Hassan Reddick down there. And look, he could definitely fill in, but you're probably going to see Cox and Hargrave as your defensive ends with a lot of Milton Williams getting thrown in there. I know someone asked about Marlon Tuipulotu. Put him there as nose tackle depth just because that's what he was brought in for last year, but he didn't see any snaps because he's not a nose tackle, man, not in the NFL. But neither is Marvin Wilson or Rennell Wren, and they all played nose tackle in college. But we needed a real nose tackle. You have that in Jordan Davis, and you also brought in that Noah Ellis kid. So I'm hoping the best for him, but maybe Marlon Tuipulotu can put it together and get himself. But I threw him in there for you just so you guys know who's on the roster and everything. I forgot I could just show you the depth chart, but whatever. Anyways, here it is. And I know some of you guys, you're just watching or skimming through whatever. So I wanted to try to make this so you could see everybody. You see the linebackers up there. Got Bradley, Edwards, Taylor. Those were the linebackers last year. Holy shit. Like, look above them that's new guys. Yes. Yes. So very excited. And Anthony, that's where my excitement comes from for this damn linebacking core. Now, if you were doing the 3-2-6, which is just your odd man dime package, then you've got the 6 defensive backs. So you would just replace Zach McPherson or Jimmy Moreland, Josiah Scott, whoever wants to take that job with whatever linebacker there. So again, very, very exciting. Sorry that 3-2-6 is not there. But again, just like the big nickel, I try to add some of these after I'm like, no, I want to throw that one in there too. There's like 20 other ones I could throw in here, guys. There's so many variations of these things, but wanted to show you the most likely and, just the ones that I'm really excited about seeing and hoping that you can see why we talked about some of these players before we drafted them or before we signed them, because it was so important to what this team is trying to do, because it opens up so much more. Jordan Davis is a monster of a man. He can be in on that 3-3-5 passing down. He can be in the middle and dominate people as Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave open things up. And then, whether you want, your Sam linebacker in Hassan Reddick rushing, or you want to have Kaiser White or Nakobe Dean, whatever it is. I mean, and again, you could have your safety blitzing or your corner. You can do whatever the hell you want with this, disguise things. But it's the fact that you can dress these things up so differently, move things around so they can have their hand in the dirt. All of a sudden, they're standing up. I mean, you got to think about what this does to a quarterback's mind when he's trying to process all these things in a very short amount of time. So I really think that this is about to be fun to watch, guys. It really was just fun putting it together. I think we're going to, teeter around 5 to 10 territory as a defense with the roster we have now. You add someone like Jesse Bates, this could be a top 5, possibly top 3 defense. And we talked about Jonathan Gannon has the right idea. We talked about that all last year with those odd fronts, but you had to have a nose tackle, had to have a Sam linebacker, had to have linebackers, had to have a real badass corner to go slay. Dude, we have all those things. And I understand it scares some people, but dude, look at all those other lineups you can use. You can put him in situations where it accentuates his skill set. And I love that 3-3-5-2. I think that's one of my favorites. So I talked about staying patient earlier in the video because, dude, that 3-3-5, let's look at it one last time. I think for me, that's one of my favorites as well. You really can you bring the house with whatever you want, man. Like I said, any of those linebackers can be rushing, dropped into coverage. You've got monsters who are going to take up double coverage and they can rush after the quarterback. Don't listen to what anybody's telling you about Jordan Davis not being able to do that. He will feast. And even if he won't, he's taken up 2, possibly 3 guys, while these other guys, it opens up lanes for them. So, I mean, we can do a whole nother video where I break down what their actual roles and everything, in detail are, but obviously we're already rolling pretty long here. I knew that would happen, but I hope you're enjoying this content because holy hell. But you see here, a lot of depth for once this year, and I am very, very excited about it. So I'm with you. I love all these formations for the most part, but this last one, we're going to end it with a run formation, but it's an odd one. So like I said, we're keeping the odd for last. And yes, poor Jared Goff. But I think the one good thing for Jared Goff is we haven't played together. So we're going to get the off season. We'll get our summer. We'll get the preseason, all that good stuff. But it doesn't really happen until you get on that field week 1. So maybe things look a little sloppy with a lot of new players. You saw that depth chart. There's like 6 new starters, dude. That's pretty awesome, but obviously could be a little sloppy. But I think with great coaching, it's great that we're playing Detroit because it's not a great offense. So hopefully we'll whoop that ass. We killed them last year. So let's do it again. But I'm with you, man. Let's go beat his ass. They were the only team worse than us, though, I think, when it came to sacks last year. I think they were 32nd and we were 31st. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's not great company to be in. And I know they added a lot, obviously, with their first pick and Aiden Hutchinson and all the great things they got, but I don't care. We talked about Walker, what a great pick that was for them, but I don't care. Again, they're doomed. Best of luck. We have the best offensive line in the game, and now this defense just got a lot better. Nakobe, he is the epitome of Philadelphia. He's the linebacker we've all been begging for. He can cover. He can run sideline to sideline. He's a 3-down linebacker. Like I said, I try to move him all over so you guys could get the idea. So don't, once again, take any of that as, oh, this guy has to play here on this formation. Nope. that's why I tried to mention everyone I could. So please, if you have any questions or you feel somebody could, and I appreciate all of you that did, please let me know so I can try to help you to the best of my ability as to where these guys are going to line up, who can do what, who's versatile here, there, the other thing. But, just like Jimmy Moreland we added last night, I try to move him around just to show you he has versatility. I'm not saying he's going to be a backup outside corner or something. I'm just saying he can play outside. He can play inside. That's great for his chances. And he can also play special teams because he is a tackling machine. So you'll love to see that. Now let's talk about tackling with that 5-2. So we've got teams, obviously a passing league, but there's some teams that can still run that damn ball. And we do go against the Titans. Thank you again for A.J. Brown. But let's talk about that 5-2. I think when we play those Titans, we could definitely employ this bad boy. Now, this one's got me pretty excited just because it's like, dude, get me on. I think I'm going to buy Madden just so I can try to play with this one because, dear God, if you try to run on this, you don't even need goal line stance. And I didn't make goal line or anything like that. You guys know what that is. But 5-2, man, for the love of God, a nose tackle, 2 defensive tackles, and 2 defensive ends. You've got 2 linebackers in the middle. But since you have Darius Slay and James Bradbury, you bring back the old 52 Eagle from good old Greasy Neal, and you crush people like Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, bro, we talked about what Kaiser White and Nakobe Dean can do. Their abilities to stop the run and in pass coverage. I mean, and there's variations of this, the monster or whatever else. You can move things around, whatever. But you got 2 safeties here. You've got 2 corners, but this is the bad boys, man. So the secondary's holding it down. They've got their priorities. But that front 7 right there, when you're looking at the 5 linemen, dude, and you could sub in. And once again, we talked about Noah Ellis earlier in the video. I snuck him in right at the end here. I'm hoping the best for him because he's the only guy really on this roster that can really back up Jordan Davis as a nose tackle. But again, I don't think you're going to need to spell Jordan Davis and give him depth. I think you're just running different packages when he's not needed because I think this kid plays every effing down that you need him to. So again, I showed you every formation that can be used. So, at the beginning it was, why is he not, starting? But really, he is, because I think it's the 3-4 you're going to see mostly, and that 3-3-5, the 3-2-6. So those are the things I think you're going to see more of. We saw a lot of that last year, but lack of depth and just lack of starting experience. I mean, again, sorry, Jannard Avery, but Hassan Reddick, quite the upgrade. Marlon Tuipulotu, Jordan Davis is quite the upgrade there because Tuipulotu didn't even play. We couldn't even use nose tackle. People were so pissed at Fletcher Cox and Hargrave. Oh, these guys are... Well, Hargrave was killing in the beginning of the season, but it's like, if you had a nose tackle, those guys would have been feasting. So we're going to see it this year. We're going to. And I cannot stress how excited I'm really pumped about this team. And it's not just, we talked about the offense and we want to see Jalen Hurts progress, all that stuff. But this defense, baby, is the real deal. This is where it's at, man. And I really... As a kid that grew up watching Jim Johnson and my dad, Buddy Ryan. So it was like, for me, defense has always been, I watched Jeremiah Trotter and Brian Dawkins as a kid. And before that, we could go back to Reggie when I was real young, but Reggie and Randall were my first guys. But what I really remembered as growing up was Jim Johnson's defense, my teenage, younger, like 10 to teenage years. Oh yeah. Yeah. And everybody talked about McNabb, what he did. And I was a huge fan. I know a lot of people hate him, but huge McNabb fan. One of, if not the greatest Eagles quarterback of all time. But that defense, and dude, we're talking about Dawkins and Trotter, but dude, Lito and Sheldon and oh my God, Trent Cole, don't even get me started. I even love Darwin Walker. I mean, so many players we could sit here and talk about, but that's what it's all about, man. I want some damn defense. I'm sick and tired of watching teams just run it up. So give me that defense. Give me that effing defense, please, for the love of God. Are you concerned at all about Josh Sweat and the new weak side linebacker role in the base 3-4? We'll have to cover a lot more. Standard pass rusher. Sorry for all the... Dude, don't ever be sorry asking a question, man. I truly appreciate you tuning in and asking questions, and that's what this is for, man. So this is a good question, man. This is a chance to talk about some of the things that I've seen discussed out there. He played this role last year, and he did well in it. As that weak side linebacker in the 3-4, he's not going to be dropping back too much. He's going to be the guy that's lining up as the weak side. What that means is, and not saying you guys don't understand this, but just to try to break this down for you guys, that weak side just means that that's the side that the tight end is not on. The strong side is the tight end. So you've got the guy that is weaker per se. He's not your tougher dude that's going on that weak side. He's more freed up to get that pass rush. Then you've got Hassan Reddick. So he could be on the other side. And even when making that graphic, I'm like, dude, he's going to be going up against those left tackles. So I wanted to put him over there, but you get the drift of what's going on here. Just trying to put it as they're labeled, and that's usually considered the strong side. So anyways, well, I guess you guys are looking this way. Anyways, the strong side. I think that, Hassan Reddick's going to hold that down. I'm so grateful that he's there. So you're going to see, Barnett and Sweat hold that weak side down. And I think they'll do well, man. And that's a place where they will shine, because you saw it last year. But I think the importance here is why some of these guys, if you actually go look at their win percentage, against the tackles or the guards or whoever they're going up against, a lot of these guys did really well, but they just never finished the play. Didn't get the sack, whatever. It's because it doesn't matter if you're doing your part. The other guys are coming over blocking because they don't have to worry about shit. The quarterback's running this way. Oh, wide open lanes, whatever. Once again, 31st in the league in sacks last year. Unacceptable. So I think this is having a nose tackle. We talked about the importance of that, but having someone on the opposite side. And a lot of people, Brandon Graham's back. That's going to be great. Brandon Graham does not play in the 3-4 outside linebacker role. He will play defensive end. As you saw in that 3-4, he was the backup to the defensive end inside. You know what? Let's pop that bad boy up one last time just so you can see that. Because that last year, if you guys remember, we made that, video talking about what these guys, were going to do without Brandon Graham. You can see at the bottom there under Javon Hargrave, I have Brandon Graham. That's where he was playing. He was not outside because it was, Sweat and Barnett on the outsides essentially. But you actually, Avery, and whether it was Sweat or Barnett, but you have someone in the middle that destroys people, but you also have Reddick on the outside. And then you have two linebackers who get things done, man. And once again, you can send those dudes. So this is going to open things up for Josh Sweat. So great question there. And I think, he's really going to get better. You guys remember it was really tough for, when we were talking about Brandon Graham earlier, we talked about his transition when Billy Davis was here. Bro, not good. Not good at all. So that was a tough one. But I think it's going much smoother for Josh Sweat. I thought he did really great last year. And I think, he's going to continue to improve. I love Josh Sweat. And I think, building around with the rotation, we talked about when we won the Super Bowl, it was with a rotation. So got to have that rotation. I think it's only going to help him. I'm really excited about it. Just think 5-2 Kelly Green next year, dude. I'm ready for Kelly Green. I'm ready for those All Blacks too, man. I want to see that, dude. I'm pumped about that. Thank you, King James. Hey, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Nice to see you. King Jameson is my name. It's been since I was a kid on Xbox, so still got the same damn gamer tag, but it's always nice seeing your name. But LeBron trying to steal from me. I get it. But dude, hope you're having a great night. Glad you enjoyed this breakdown. It's been quite the day, but always want to finish it up with a little bit of Eagles talk. So glad you guys enjoyed it. Glad you guys tuned in. If you have any questions, I am going to get rolling out here, but thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really hope you liked it. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be breaking stuff down all damn off season as much as I can. In my 50s, I love all of our, bro, my dad was born in 1950. So I had the luxury, and then my pop is the man. Let me tell you something. That dude worked at Connie Mack Stadium. He used to work for Pepsi, so he would put the sodas in machines. He used to tell me about how he talked to players, all this stuff. He helped in the championship game, shovel snow. Dude, it's in the blood. So I want defense back, man. I'm with you 100%. Miss Jerome, Reggie, all of them, man. Those were the good old days, man. It really, whenever I see the Kelly Green, it just reminds me of my dad. It makes me miss him, man, because those were the days. And, people, I don't want those. It's like, bro, you guys just don't understand what some of us old heads, what that means to us. And I don't want them to replace the Midnight Green. I just want to see some throwbacks here and there. And I want to see those All Blacks. I want to see it. I love the color schemes that we have. Let's use them. Yo, I appreciate you, man. I really do. You guys you're way too kind as of late, but man, The health has been nuts. I don't even think I ever told you guys, but I figured out what was wrong. Apparently, I have a deviated septum in here. And they're like, look, with your neck being jacked up, and obviously having cirrhosis of the liver doesn't help anything, but they're like, with that deviated septum. So if this steroid they gave me, if that doesn't help, they're going to have to do surgery. So it's been really rough lately, but I've been doing everything I can to provide you guys the content that you deserve and trying to bring all the energy I can, whether it feels like I've been run over by a truck or not. But you guys are awesome. Seriously, you are the GOATs. I cannot do this without you guys. Seriously. So I really hope you appreciated this breakdown, because I appreciate you guys taking the time. So I try to give you, dude, I don't try to waste your time. That's all I'm saying. So if there's anything I could change, anything you would like to see more of, please feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear it. And yes, we need to stay healthy, as do every damn year. Dude, we're going to do way better than 9 wins. I'm telling you, man, when we did that breakdown, if we add a corner like Bradbury, go check out that video. I said, I think we could win 14 games. I know that sounds insane. 14 out of 17, but look at that schedule and tell me who's beating us, because a lot of those teams lost a lot of players. Some of them going to have suspended players. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here. And look, it's the NFL, and you've got 6 division games. So losses can definitely happen, man. I'm not sitting here saying that it's not possible, but I definitely think we could at least win 12, man. I think at least 12. I really see a +3 win in this season. I really do, man. And we got to stay healthy. That's key. And, Jalen Hurts has got to progress, but the way he progresses is building around him, and he will progress. He's out there. I told you guys, I've been talking to the people close to him. He's doing more than just a little to get better. Trust me. And he's not working with Tom House. I see that still. I'm not at liberty to tell you, but you guys know I'm very close with the people with him. Let's just say that he's doing everything he can. And bro, if he puts it out on the field on Sundays, we're all going to be very happy. Let's just put it that way. And Nick Sirianni knows, we've got a dual threat quarterback. There are ways to, actually make that work for you. I don't know what happened at what point, what year we're supposed to just be like, oh, that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, and I can't wait to see it. I do hate the yellow and blue uniforms. The yellow jackets, bro, the Frankfurt yellow jackets, those are the ugliest. I can't stand them. And I love the history, and they actually won a championship. People never count that one, but there was a championship there. Wasn't it like 33, 1936, something like that? Brain's getting rusty. I forget my birthday anymore half the time. So I'm sorry, guys. I used to be able to do that kind of stuff off the top of my head, but hey, I know that they won a championship, so that's badass, but those are horrendous. Those are horrendous jerseys. Never wear them. They were only worn once, but that Kevin Curtis game against the Lions. Let's go put another game like that up against those Lions, though. But guys, I'm going to get rolling out here. Gonna go spend some time with the woman, but I appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. Seriously, I can't do this without you. So thank you so much for the support. If you liked the content, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on, and join me next time, and we'll be talking some birds, because I'm doing all I can. You remember last year, I had some things that I thought you guys really liked. Well, I could tell by a lot of the views and stuff like that, but some of the things I'm going to dabble with, work with, but we're definitely going to do. Last year was really fun when we did that NFC East breakdown. If you guys remember, I went through every effing position. We talked about the quarterbacks from each team. Then we did the running backs, wide receiver. I mean, we broke it all down. So we're doing it again this year. We're going to take an in-depth look at every team. We're not going to just get to know the Eagles. We're going to get to know our closest enemies. That's right, enemies. Carson Wentz and the Commanders, old Dak and the Cowboys, and old Davy Jones and the Giants. You all suck, and we're coming for that NFC East trophy. Just letting you know. But stay strapped in, man. And if there's anything you guys think, you want to see more of, or whatever you think would be cool to see this offseason, let me know. I'm going to be keeping you up to date with the OTA stuff and whatever else is going on. But whatever I can do to make this a better experience, please let me know, because I'd love to. Look, I'm working with a shitty laptop here. I've got my phone to make graphics, and the camera is like crap quality. At least we got a mic here, but I'm doing all I can with what I've got. So I hope it's enough for you guys, but I truly appreciate you. And as the time goes by, those things will only improve. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. You guys are awesome. And hey, thank you, man. I seriously appreciate it. And again, if there's anything you want more of, let me know. But thank you. And dude, yeah, man, Yes, and that's what I want, to find more diehard fans, and I know there are more of you out there because we just live and breathe Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you guys know my story. I was literally on my deathbed, and I'm like trying to talk about the Eagles, trying to tell these people, like, get the games on, get out of my way. They're like, sir, we're trying to tell you about a life-saving surgery we're going to try to perform. Like, well, you're going to have to wait because the effing game is on, and that literally happened. So you got to wait till after the game. If I die, I would rather it be watching the Eagles. So that's how I kind of went out. But in that time period, getting, healthier and realizing, with my life, it was a very traumatizing experience. I'm not going to lie to you, but I try to bring light to it because there's so much darkness in this world, man. So when I tell you guys at the end of videos, reach out if you need anything. I mean it, man. I really do, because I've been to hell and back, and I hate where the world is today. And we need to make a change. We do that by, talking about things, getting things out together, and then holding the people in charge accountable to actually to do the things that they're supposed to. So I love all of you guys, man. And I think that you guys, are just really just, my rock, and I can't do it. And obviously my family, Chelsea, Dominic, Herschel, and my siblings, my mother, I love you guys, almost as much as them. And those guys have been with me my whole life, but you guys are getting there, dude, because you've been through me with these trying times. We'll call them that, but I almost died. And I literally dedicated my time to talking about the Eagles. They helped me get through that, man. And we all know in today's world, not everybody gets that second chance, man. And that's horrible. So I try to spend it, making it matter. So I know this might not matter to some people. Oh, just sports. It's bigger than that for me, man. And some of you guys that do talk to me personally outside of this, those friendships matter more than anything to me. So maybe you've never reached out and this is the time you're waiting for. Do it, man. You need a friend to talk to. You don't have to talk about birds. Maybe you're not even a birds fan. You should talk about life. I'm down, man. I am. And you can ask. I mean, I've made friends that are Raiders, Cowboys. I mean, you guys are awesome, man. And it's all about, look, we're using sports to just try to find some peace in this crazy world, man. So I'm not saying I've got the answers, but just trying to bring you guys something that you can enjoy. So sorry to ramble on here, but I love you guys and I truly appreciate you too. So I appreciate you being a part of this family, guys. You're all family to me. So thank you. And well, I mean, that right there, we all can agree on that, right? F Dallas, man. The Cowboys suck. So they're going to find out this year. We're coming back for that trophy. Appreciate you guys. King James, I mean, AJ, Jock Talk, I'm sure Drew, I'm missing all of you guys. I'm serious. My brain is mush putting this damn show together because there was a lot. Pharaoh even tuned in at one point, I think. Esteban, I mean, there were more of you, and I'm sure I forgot you because I'm an asshole, but I love you guys, and I love the Eagles community as well. And look, there's always going to be sour grapes in every community, but that's why and we even try to help those guys too, always. But if it gets too much, we block it out. We stick to family. That's how we get things done around here. So you guys are family, and I cannot thank you, family, for tuning in tonight. It's been a long one, but a lot of content. Hope you learned something or gained something from that. If you did, again, would appreciate the like, appreciate subscribing to the channel. I'm going to get rolling out. I'll be back soon with some more content. Maybe something wild happens. Jesse Bates trade, and I'll be back talking about it. Go, Howie. Go make that trade. You've got it. And if you guys missed it, go check out those videos about Jesse Bates. We've got the money. We've got the draft picks. We've got an extra first next year, an extra second the next year. So we've got the money. Go check out the breakdowns. I break down everything with all the rookie signings. Bradbury. I know the cap is complicated, but I try to simplify it for everybody so you can understand it. Hopefully I try not to get too in-depth here, so it was in-depth, but not to where you couldn't understand what the hell I was talking about if you never heard any of that. So I try not to use too much crazy terminology, but if there's something you've heard of and you didn't hear me say it, or you want to hear something, whatever, please feel free to ask me, and I'd love to answer those questions. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to finally shut the hell up and get rolling out, but I appreciate you guys. Once again, my heart and prayers go out to Texas and the people in charge. It's time for you to get something done and make a change. But to those of you, have yourselves a safe night. Love your family. Tell the people you love them, because you never know, man. So I love you guys. Have a safe night. Reach out seriously if you need me, but I'm going to get rolling here. Love you all. Have a good one. And as always, come on!